Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Okay, so today we are learning about guidance and then counseling, career guidance, and some career guidance theories. So if we just recap what we have learned about guidance, can you just tell me what kind of idea do you have about guidance? Just all these things we have learned before. Yes, even you can see some of the points here and things that you remember. So do we need guidance for education?
Yes, ma'am, we need guidance in education field also in order to make appropriate decision and to guide to achieve things. We sometimes we need to give guidance and at some times for most of the time for correct decision making times, and we need to give guidance for students.
So it is called guidance is from cradle to grave. That means from the day we were born until we die, we need guidance. Right? So that's therefore it is an integral part in education. Guidance because now it is not counseling guidance. We can be given by anybody, parents, teachers, siblings, peers. So then guidance is an essential part in education, and we need guidance at all levels. Even we are in grade 1 or grade 12, or even we are in university or following a course, we need guidance of somebody, because sometimes selecting a course, right, then applying for a job, for everything that we need guidance. So then through guidance, it helps the students to adjust to their educational environment. So when it comes to educational environment, not only the school, that the subjects they learn, the methods, all these comprise educational environment. So students, they have educational problems because they have not adjusted to the environment. Sometimes they don't like the teachers, they don't like the subject, their friends are that school children are bullying them, so they hate the school environment. So because of all these things, they need guidance, right? So they need guidance to cope with the problems they encounter. So then they learn from the guidance how to cope with the problems, right? So it is a method of facing, helping the students to face problems and how to overcome them, right? Right. So then this guidance can be divided into 3 parts. What are these 3 parts? Tell me. Look at the screen and tell me.
Educational guidance,
Educational guidance, vocational guidance, and personal guidance, right? So then educational guidance is very important. We told that's an integral part of a student's life, right? So then educational guidance enable a student to adjust to the educational environment in an effective manner, right? So as I told you, not only the school, but to work with the students, the methodologies they apply, the evaluation methods, all these things is educational environment. So educational guidance help for the overall development of the students, right? Overall development. That means overall development means not only getting good grades and passing the exam. They learn how to work with others, teamwork, to accept both victory and defeat, then how to interact with others, how to respect others, obeying rules and regulations in the school. So all these things overall, almost all of them, they learn from the school. Traditions, customs, good hygiene practices, right? Right. What are the problems in education? Tell me. So what kind of problems the students encounter in education? Just tell. What are the problems the students encounter? මොනවද තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න ළමයින්ට අධ්‍යාපනයේ?
They don't understand the teacher is teaching, or they are not more confident in with the peers.
Right. And they have broad content. Okay, ඉගෙන ගන්න තියෙන ප්‍රමාණය වැඩි, broad content, tough timetable. Sometimes their evaluation methods are not suitable. So if we consider about some children who are very good in arts, sports, they are not good in their studies, that the evaluation method don't evaluate them very well. Then teaching methodologies, teaching techniques, then what else? Heavy workload. Sometimes they have to do a lot of homework. They have to get ready for exams. They don't like sometimes. So all these things are problems in education. You can write them, right? Right. According to Arthur A. Jones, educational guidance is concerned with assistance to be provided to the pupils, which is expected for their adjustment in the school. So we have to help the students to adjust to the school and select the curricula, right? Sometimes that the students face, now if we consider about A-levels, so the child likes to do art subjects, but the parents want him to do science subjects, so math subjects. The child is very good at drawing, that means arts. So, but parents said artist කෙනෙක් වෙලා මොනව කරන්නද මේ දොස්තර කෙනෙක් හරි ඉංජිනේරුවෙක් හරි වෙන්න. So then the child has a big problem because he has to follow something he doesn't like. So in that case, teachers can help him to overcome the problem. Then, to be able to provide the right kind of educational guidance, it is important that the guidance provider, who is the guidance provider? Maybe the teacher, maybe a priest, or any adult, right? Or maybe a principal or an educated person. So he should know about the child very well. Without knowing about the child, no use of giving guidance, right? Then he should know about the child, his interest, his abilities, skills, how does he study. So after studying all these things only, the child should be given guidance, right? Objectives of educational guidance. So these are the objectives: to know about the academic progress of the students. So we can give educational guidance to know about the academic progress. Then to enable the student to get acquainted with the curriculum. So we can give educational guidance to make them familiar with the curriculum. Then to identify students who are academically strong, that there are some students who follow the academic work very well. There are some students who are backward, some weak students, there are very creative students. So then we can identify all these students through educational guidance. Then educational guidance help the student to get information about further education. That means after O-levels, what kind of stream they have to follow. So after that, if they want to go to the university, they can go, or else what are the other opportunities they have? There are private universities. Now, like you all, they can apply and learn, do their higher studies, or else they can apply for other countries. They can, there are some students who don't like to do A-levels. From O-levels onwards, that they like to do higher studies. And there are technical colleges, German tech, so then they can follow vocational courses. So like that, the students can get information about their further education. Then we need educational guidance to know about learning difficulties, disabilities of students, because there are some students who can't concentrate whatever the teacher teaches. Then there are some students who have vision problems, speech problems, hearing problems. They can't hold the pen or pencil properly, right? Neurological problems. Then sometimes the parents cannot identify that. So teacher, while observing when the child is working, identifies the problem. Then to help the students to overcome the problems they face in their educational environment at home, as well as the educational institution. So they have some problems. So peers with peers, they can't understand the concepts, or they can't understand what the teacher teaches, they can't grasp the idea. Then sometimes bullying by friends. So they sometimes they hate certain subjects. They don't like the methodology of the teacher. So there are so many problems. They can overcome these problems through educational guidance. Right. So why do they need guidance? So educational guidance is needed when selecting A-level streams, selecting courses for jobs, and especially we have to give educational guidance for those who have failed exams. So then sometimes when they fail exam, they try to drop out school, try to ride a three-wheeler and earn some money. So without doing that, we can show him the path rather than dropping out school. So now here they have a 13-year education. So for those who have failed O-level, they can continue 13-year education. So there are practical subjects like agriculture, fashion designing, then hair cutting. So there are so many practical subjects like they do in vocational institutes. They can follow 13-year education, though they fail O-level subjects, right? So then we can make them aware. Sometimes they may not know. So if there are students who have stopped education from grade 10 even, we can direct them to technical colleges. There are some courses, mason work, then carpentry, automobile. So there are so many courses they can follow, though they drop out school even without doing O-levels. So we have to do that. Otherwise, they will destroy their life by choosing some unnecessary paths. Right. Such students often need the sympathy of their parents and teachers who can guide and motivate them to perform better at their studies. So sometimes when they fail exams, the parents, they humiliate them, scold them, and humiliate them in front of others and compare them with other children. So it should not be done. What the parents have to do is encourage him to do their studies further, right? So if educational guidance is missing in such cases, the students may tend to develop negative attitude towards their study materials. So then they will have negative attitudes towards parents also. They may think that parents did not guide them. So then they will have some negative attitudes towards parents, towards school, teachers, subjects, if they are not guided well. Then if we consider about unsatisfactory progress, educational guidance is needed more by students who do not show satisfactory progress in academic work. So then those who do not show good progress in education can be given educational guidance. That means if the child is not good in academic work, the child can be directed to some other area he is good at. Or else if the child has not got any guidance from the parents or teachers, then can be given that guidance to succeed their education. Right. Undesired behavior. Right. So sometimes students develop undesired behavior, right? Because they are not interested in the course or in studies. So then they have some kind of, now if they don't like to study, so they may not, they don't like to stay in the class. They run out from the class and play in the playground. right? So then, or else if they don't like the subjects, they may disturb the class. So they hamper their learning process. Also, they will disturb the others. So then, educational guidance may be provided to such students to alter their behavior. Through educational guidance, we can change their behavior and we can guide them to help them to do their studies efficiently and effectively. Then individual differences. So then there are different types of students in the class. So we can find the students who are gifted, average, then below average, slow learners, children with certain disabilities like autism, Down syndrome, right? So then, and there are some students who have different interests. They like mathematics, they don't like Buddhism or Sinhala. They like science and they hate some other subject like that. So then educational guidance help to choose courses according to their abilities. Now, after O levels, they can select subjects as they wish, math subjects, science subjects, bio, then commerce subjects, arts. So then we have to help them to select the subject they are good at. Educational guidance also ensures that the students perform to the best of their abilities in the selected course. So after selecting that, we have to guide them. So we can tell them how to study, what study packs they can study. So they like that we have to guide the students to do their studies well. Right. So how can we help them to adjust to the school? Right. Now tell me, since some of you are teachers, tell me, what kind of problems your students have? Just tell your experience. How do they behave? Are they gifted students? Are they average students? Are they students who disturb in the classes? And how do you help them to overcome the problem? Yes, tell. You may have this experience.
Some students are, they don't like more of the writing works. Therefore,
Right.
they need like practicals. In practical sessions, all they are so much interested in practical things and the presentations and those IT works and all. They are so much interested in that than writing works and all. And
Okay.
the other problem is some students are slow learners. Therefore, we have to go to near them and explain them again, and always take them individually to us and then explain them back again the stuff that we taught in the classroom. Likewise, so much problems. And some people, the letters, they don't write there's a way of writing the letters. They don't
Yes.
follow that, and we can't understand what they have written on the book.
So, what kind
Some
of
people,
yes, okay, continue. Yes, some, yes.
and some students, like in grade 6, 7, there are so much problem in numerical. In maths, they don't. In multiplying numbers and all, they confuse them, and so much like those problems arises. And sometimes there in one of my class, there is one boy who his talent in all the works. He is so much talent, but he finishes the work first and disturbs the whole class.
Okay, right. So then, what kind of child is he? Is he a gifted child?
No, he's not a gifted child, but he's better. He's better than the other ones. Yeah, but he tries to disturb others after finishing his work.
Okay, then he is above the average level.
Yeah, a bit average. He can understand the things at the first time when we explain the things, he just grabs that.
Yeah, they are called gifted. So that is one characteristic of gifted children. So they finish their work quickly and disturb the others because that the work is not sufficient for him to. It is not challenging.
Then we have to give some other works and do the other one and turn the next page and do that exercise.
Yeah.
yeah, we have to handle that, like that situation only.
In such cases, you have to have some, now you should identify the levels of students, and you should have some special activities for these kind of students, that those who are gifted, that means above average, you should have some challenging activities rather than the average students. So then if you have below average students, you can have some simple activities. So you can, you should identify the students, and the same activities, you can have some challenging for the above average students and some less challenging for the below average students. Then you can manage the class. Otherwise, if you keep on teaching the same thing again and again, it's a waste of time. Then the students, those who have finished, they have to wait until you come after instructing others, like that. So you have to have some activities. You have to prepare according to the level of the student, same lesson. Okay, it's a good experience. Now, otherwise you are tired by teaching the same again and again to the students, those who could not understand. Right. So then, okay. So adjustment of students when entering school or college, many students have problems adjusting to the new environment, right? Because the place is new, teachers are new, subjects, some they are studying new subjects in the school. So then they need some adjustment. So then one of the main reasons for this maladjustment is that the students are not properly oriented towards the school. Now here, orientation means that we help them to learn about the school. So now, especially now, if we consider about our colleges of education, when we take the new recruits, first 3 days, we have an orientation program. We make them aware about the places, the officers, how to address them, then what subjects, how many evaluation methods, how many assignments do they have. So like that, we give them some orientation. Then only they will get adjusted to the place. So, okay. Okay, right. Now the same thing. Right, guiding gifted and academically backward students, as I told you. Now, gifted children, they like to do experiments. They don't like to listen to the lessons. That traditional teaching methods, it's not suitable. So then they want to go out, do experiments, that because they are good readers, these gifted children, they grasp the things very quickly when the teacher teaches. So what kind of things do you suggest for the gifted children? Sometimes you might have encountered these students in your classes. What kind of activities do you suggest? How can you handle them without letting them disturb the class? Yes, give some suggestions.
After finishing their tasks, we can advise them to help others.
Good. That's one way. Yes, help others. Then we can assign them some projects like thing to read from some papers and magazines, and find from the websites, find some information, prepare a project related to the lesson you have done, right? So you can assign some project or prepare a booklet. So like that, you can give some extra activities for these students. Right? Because we have to handle them very well. If we do not handle, or if we just disregard them, if we don't care them, it will be a problem. Because they want to, because they have the thirst to learn. But if they feel you don't care, that then they feel lack of interest in the subject. Right. So we have to motivate them through, because we have to recognize them. Too much recognition also not suitable. If we tell, oh, he's the best one, he's so clever. And if we praise him all the time, then he becomes very proud, and then finally they will don't care the teachers also. Then they will feel, so they learn, they can do everything, they know everything. So too much recognition also not suitable. But anyway, we have to give the recognition. We should not disregard them. So that is also harmful. Right. So academically backward students, we have to give them some extra activities. Now, suggest some activities for the students who find difficult to write letters. Imagine now there are some students who do not write, the letter formation is not good. They can't identify B and D. And when they write, some spellings are missing. They can't write properly, as you told about your students. So then suggest some activities for these kind of students to make them write correct letters without.
We can give them like copywriting, like you have to look at the paragraph and write in the exercise book each and every day. We have to give them some work.
Yes.
Yeah, copywriting works.
Now imagine now they have incorrect formation of letters. Akuru hariyata liyanne naha. So what is your suggestion?
Then
We
we'll
can
have
teach
to.
them formation.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's okay. Go ahead.
No, you say. Now we can. I mean, we can teach them how to write the letter correctly, and then we can give them practical. I mean, we can give them time to write.
Okay. Yes.
And when we start introducing letters, we use rhymes to letter formation. Like when we're writing around the apple, down the leaf, so that's we write a. Like we use all the, like each letter had a rhyme, so they can read the rhyme, and they can remember the rhyme, so they rhymes it and write. So it helps them to do the formation properly.
Okay, even that you can do that. What we call dotted lines. You can write the letter, ask them to write on dotted lines, and we can write correct arrows. Now if you consider A, down, down, cross, like that, we can show the arrows. Where should arrow go, from up to down, like that. So we can show them the arrows, or we can write, we can let them write on dotted lines, and using double rule books, copywriting, dictation. So we can give these kind of activities for the students. If you have watched the film Tare Samipar, so then you can learn how did the teacher try his best to teach that child the letters, because at the beginning his letters are very big. So then gradually he let him write the correct formation of letters. First he tries on the sand board. Sometimes he writes on his skin, right? So like that, we can use different activities to help them for correct letter formation, right? Right, then, as I told you before, that educational guidance is very much helpful to avoid dropout from schools, right? So if they fail, or if they are not interested in learning further, we can help him to, we can guide them to technical colleges, or there are some vocational institutes. We can guide them rather than let them go astray or idle their life. So then educational guidance at the different levels of education. So elementary stage, that we can't give lots of educational guidance, but anyway, that we can give guidance for them to think, look at things in positive manner, or we can prepare them for the secondary stage. So at the secondary level, so educational guidance is essential, because sometimes they lack taking decisions regarding the courses they have to select, sometimes that they find it difficult to follow certain curriculum. The teachers' teaching methods are not suitable, so they hate the subject. So then we can motivate the students to do their higher studies by showing them the targets they can reach and helping them to have realistic aspirations, achievable goals, right? Higher stage, right? Then higher stage also we need guidance. Now here actually if you now as an example for applying for colleges of education, some students may not know. Actually, when I was a student, I didn't know about it. Nobody told me. So then, but now the students are very vigilant. Even that here recently, when I was traveling in the bus, that there were two boys behind my seat, and I overheard, they were talking about now it's no use of going to university. Rather than that, it's better to do these courses. Now, if we do this course, we can go to this place. This is how we have to study. They are very vigilant. Because they find the path that parents don't need to guide them, that they find themselves, and they alone they can go a better way. So it's a very good thing, since the knowledge explosion and these websites and all these things. Because of that, now the students they are well aware about their paths, right? So then even at the universities, when they go for vocational institutes, they need guidance. Right. If we consider about the vocational guidance, now it is very, very important, because that now there are so many vocational institutes in Sri Lanka. Can you name some of the vocational institutes? NITA, NIBM, what else? PTA, Vocational Training Authority, German Tech, then these technical colleges, they are vocational institutes. LabTech, Lalita Tilakamudri Vocational Institute. What are the others that you know? Even SLIAT. What else? Univotech. So there are so many vocational institutes. So then these the vocational guidance help the students to select the right job, right courses, right? Now, if they want to do some courses, they can, some job, they can follow correct courses. They have no correct path to go, right? So at the beginning, if they have some kind of idea regarding a job, then they can follow a suitable course, right? According to Crow and Crow, Lester D. Crow and Alice Crow, this is the definition they have given about vocational guidance. Vocational guidance usually is interpreted as the assistance given. We help people, the learner, to choose. That means select a job, prepare for that. How can we help them to prepare for a job? Tell me, how can we prepare? How can we help them to prepare for a job? Now imagine he has selected the job as graphic designing. How can we help him to prepare for the job? By following a suitable course, graphic designing course. Then progress in the job. How to go up, climb up in the ladder, in the hierarchy. level so that he passes exams and go up in the hierarchy. So according to Professor Emeritus of Education, University of Michigan, Myers, he told that vocational guidance is the process of assisting the individual, right? Assisting the individual to do for himself certain definite things pertaining to his vocation. Yage vocation eකට අදාළව ඒකට අදාළ දෙයක් කරන්න යාට උදව් කරන එක. Now as an example, if we consider about carpentry, the carpentry වල මුදටම මේ වැඩේ කරන්න පුළුවන් විදිහට හදන එක. So we can help him to find a course in the technical college, follow that course, take a certificate, and help him to do it professionally. Right. The objectives of vocational guidance to help the students to get the right information about all aspects of the vocation. So if we consider about all aspects of vocation, what are they? All aspects how do you understand that? All aspects of the vocation. The education or qualifications required. Then outlook. Outlook means how do others look at that subject? Then the recognition, reputation in the society. Then what are the benefits? Then how can we progress in the job? How can we take promotions? Right. So we have to give all this information to help students to understand their own abilities and skills. So now as an example, if you do not like teaching and if you don't have ability of teaching, you don't have skill of teaching, you can't be a teacher. So then you have to select a job that you are interested in, that matches your abilities and skills. Then we have to help the students to develop an attitude towards the work, towards his job, to teach them to work in teams, in groups, right? So to help the students to become proficient in the vocation. How can they become proficient in the vocation? Job How can they become proficient in their job? As teachers, how can you become proficient in your job? Now, why you are studying this? To become proficient in your job. Yes, tell, how can we help them to become proficient in their vocation? Speak. Call proficient in your job.
Enhancing knowledge and gathering experience.
Yes. Then sometimes that as teachers now, not only doing your degrees and all, you can take part in workshops. So sometimes that workshops are conducted in your schools to teach you methodologies, some extra activities to do, then you become proficient in the vocation, right? So not only teaching, that sometimes guiding, there are so many extra activities that you have to perform in the school. Then to assist students to critically analyze the various vocations they can opt for to take the right decision. So then they critically analyze. Now here, if I take teaching, or am I suitable for this job? Or am I good in something related to computer? Or something related to commerce? So we critically analyze the suitable job, right? And thinking of the future of the job, the salaries, benefits, right? The need of vocational guidance, choosing the right profession. That's very, very important. If you have selected the wrong profession, you suffer and others also suffer, because that in our case that there are some students, they don't like teaching. So when we ask why you came here, because our mother wanted me to become a teacher. So my mother says it's the best job for a lady, because now from 7:30 to 1:30, that after 1:30 that she's free. Even when she gets married, that it's easy. There are 3 months vacation. So then my parents wanted me to be a teacher, but I don't like teaching. So then the child is not successful in the job. So therefore, if a a person chooses a wrong profession, he cannot succeed in it. Then he is not satisfied. He can't do that. He is not psychologically fit to do the job. So therefore, we have to help the children to select the right profession that he can get satisfaction. We consider about personal and social values. Wait. So then personal vocational guidance has its associated several personal and social values, right? So then right guidance help you to achieve happiness in your profession and personal development. You can do higher studies, you can do courses, you can get promotions and help to have social relationships. Now you can work with other. Now if you consider about a workshop or a seminar, you meet other teachers from other schools, you have friendships, right? Then maximum utilization of human potentialities. So then vocational guidance motivate workers to perform better, thereby causes them to use their potentials. Potentials means hidden talents. Then they can use them to the maximum, right? So then it gives you personal satisfaction, professional device, you get satisfaction, right? So vocational guidance. So elementary level, we can help the children to respect each and every profession equally. Job respect so they can develop a positive attitude towards each and every work. Even the coconut plucker, sweeper. So every job is important. We have to make them aware. Then we can make them good in their handwork. Develop eye-hand coordination. So what kind of activities we can give them to practice these things? How to work without wasting things, how to work systematically, working with others. Tell me that there's one subject in the schools that they learn all these things. What is that subject? What is that subject they learn? Practical, technical skills, Prataku. What do they learn there? I don't know whether you have in private schools. But in government schools, they have a subject like that. There they learn knitting, sewing, preparing food items, handwork. They learn all these things. Right. So when it comes to secondary level, vocational guidance is very, very important because they get familiar with the jobs world of work. It helps to take right decisions, right? Then there he learned his abilities, his skills, and select the best job he can do after his after leaving school. Then for higher levels also very, very important because they need to select the correct choice, correct job in order to succeed his life, right? Right. Then personal guidance. So it is also very important because sometimes the children have lots of problems, family problems, problems with the parents, teachers, friends, emotional problems. So we have to give them personal guidance. It can be given by even a counselor if they have some problems. Otherwise, that if they have some misunderstanding with the parents and all, we can give them guidance, right? So then they have some negative attitudes towards the parents. So for that, we can give guidance. But if they have some problems, psychological problems or any other kind of problem, we can give them counseling, right? So personal guidance help to develop healthy emotional and social environment for the students, right? Right. Then why they need personal guidance? That personal guidance help them to adjust to the environment. Then it avoid interpersonal conflicts, avoid tension, facilitate students to take decisions related to their problems. So because they are responsible for taking decisions for their problems. Then develop happy and healthy environment. Right. Right now, these are also about the importance of guidance, why it is important. We discussed that for personal, emotional, social environment, all these things. Okay. You can read. I will send you the PowerPoint. Guidance programs must be based on the following assumptions. So it's also, you can read. Right. Right. Now here, essentials of good guidance program. Why it is essential? Because we need guidance for everyone. We know that it is from cradle to grave. So if you come to responsive services means that include preventive programs that prevent students from making wrong choices, right? By giving good guidance, we can avoid children taking wrong choices. It's not only for jobs. Sometimes they take wrong choices regarding their life. There are suicidal tendency for some. Sometimes they select wrong partners and ruin their life. Sometimes they take wrong decisions regarding their lifestyle and destroy their life. So in that one, we need to give them guidance, right? So especially with their education and career goals also, we have to give them guidance, right? So sometimes that through guidance, we can give they take remedial measures. Those who have, even that if they have already taken wrong choices, we can help them to take remedial measures. If we consider about system support, right, it includes staff development, community resource development, policy development, budget, and providing facility, that is system support. Okay. Right. If we consider about the characteristics of good guidance, right? So children need, so it must be designed and developed as a school program with defined outcomes. Again, outcome, so it is that they should be able to use it later in their later life. It helps them in their later life. After leaving school, they should be able to use that in their life. So it should be from kindergarten to A levels. So then this guidance should include achievable and measurable outcomes. They should be achieved. The outcome should be measurable for the students, right? So that we give personal guidance, social guidance, educational guidance, career guidance, they should be achievable. Then it must be developmental. Guidance should be developmental. In that activities appropriate to student maturity. Guidance then okay. So now here that we can consider a team that who can give guidance for the students. It may include counselor, educators, parents, student support staff, right? Community representatives, guidance committee, right? So then guidance should be given by qualified guidance or counselors who can manage and coordinate the programs, that they should deliver good programs for the students. Right. Now, guidance is over. Now we are coming to counseling. Can you tell me what counseling is? We have learned it before. About counseling, and what can you remember regarding counseling? How many people are involved in counseling? Who are these? Okay, tell about counseling. Now, we know that guidance can be given by anybody. Only guidance then.
Counseling is a professional service, like given by profession, the counselor to a counselor.
Okay.
The client or counselor.
Okay, it's a professional service. That means it should be given by a professionally trained counselor. it's a relationship between a professional trained counselor and the client, right? So then counseling cannot be given by somebody who doesn't have any knowledge about counseling. So we can't give counseling according to our own experience or what has happened to us. Okay. So it is also an integral part in schools. So we can give educational counseling, personal counseling, vocational counseling for the development of the students. So we can give full-time counseling, or we can give counseling when necessary. Then when children have problems, we can help them to overcome the problems, right? And to succeed their educational journey. So we give counseling to help them to resolve their social, emotional, mental problems, psychological problems, or career problems, right? So through counseling, we can guide them to have a successful life, right? So counseling services are essential for students due to the following reasons. So then through counseling, children learn their abilities and skills. Then they can learn about their choices related to educational choices and vocational choices. They learn and identify their problems and find solutions to them. And counseling helps them to identify their strengths, abilities, and skills. And counseling helps them to take correct decisions, future plans according to their abilities and skills. Right. Then there are several methods that can be used by counselors to offer counseling. They are individual counseling and group counseling. What is group counseling? Okay, tell me, what is group counseling? What is group counseling and when can we give group counseling? Yes. So group counseling is given to a group of students who have the same problem. Tell me some kind of similar problems the students have. There are no common problems on ළමයිට. Exam phobia is one problem. What else? What are other problems they have? They can't concentrate things and they get exam phobia when they have exams, right?
Choosing streams.
Choosing subject streams.
And some are nowadays addicted to drugs and all. And
yes. Yeah.
That on those kinds of things also counselings are done in schools.
Yes, we can give counseling for the students. And so group counseling, in a group, there should be less than 10, maximum 10. So they are given counseling at the same time. So when giving group counseling at the very beginning, we let them discuss with each other, right? So we put them in a place, a very free place, and let them discuss among themselves. So sometimes that the students themselves, they learn from others. If they have applied some kind of methods and succeeded, they can apply. And it saves time since counseling is given to everyone at the same time. When it comes to individual counseling is given to only one client, right? The person who has problems is given counseling. So the problem is specific. So according to the gravity of the problem, counselor meets the client several times to help him to solve that particular problem. So it's time consuming, but they can meet anywhere. They don't need a specific place to meet, that they can have the counseling interview or confrontation anywhere and help the client to solve the problem. Right. Then vocational development. So it is, as we discussed earlier, school guidance programs also help them to know about the educational, personal, and vocational choices, right? So especially in the schools that we can organize vocational programs, career guidance workshops for the students to select their best career, right? For the career choice, right? Then, so in this vocational development, the students are given the idea of job analysis, how to analyze a job and select the best one, how to write a job description, how to get job satisfaction, take decisions regarding a job. So they are given group counseling, right? All these things are done by vocational career counseling and for the career development. What are the things we require for a career? Tell මොනවද අපිට අවශ්‍ය job එකකට? Yes, especially we need, what are the things that we require for a job? Especially
Education and qualifications.
yes,
Experience.
yes, education qualification is the first thing there. Next,
Abilities and skills.
Experience.
yeah, abilities and skills is the most important. Sometimes you don't have experience, but if you have the ability and skill, you can prosper in the job and then you can gather experiences, right? Sometimes when you might have gone for teaching without any experience, but later on, since you have the abilities and skills, you have succeeded in the job and now you prosper in the job, right? Then, okay, so we select a job according to our abilities and skills, and we can prosper in that, and we can enjoy the job if we have selected the right career, right? Personal types and interests, right? So then we select our careers as we discussed according to our skills and abilities. Sometimes that if you have loved a job from the very beginning, teaching because you have taught your toys, you liked hitting them with a stick, putting rides and crosses in the books. So then you love teaching, right? Then you love a job that gives satisfaction and you love a job that you are interested in, right? Then the professional life is also a very important part in our job, because sometimes we hate the job, it affects our personal life as well. So then it's very, very important to select the correct career, right? So the experience also help you to prosper in your job. And as you said that if you have some kind of previous experience, so it will help you to do your job very well, perform your job, perform your work very well. And if you consider about the culture of an individual, the ethnic background, the society, the family influences or influences from the society affect your job, right? Okay, even gender, if you consider about the gender, male and female, now there are certain jobs that the women do not like, carpentry, mason work, ladies, automobile, so they don't like to take that. Even recently I saw one girl who has become who was doing repairs in the CTB area, internship, and she was working in buses. And there are some women drivers in the highway, right? So that they have changed their jobs now. That means they have come to the certain jobs that earlier we have decided that only men should do, right? Career development, right? So then career development can be done by improving the knowledge through, first of all, that you have to select the correct choice, right career. Then you can follow certain courses, and a practical component also help you to improve your, develop your career, right? Then same. You can read these things, they're easy, right? So career development has the following goals: self-development, right? So that through career that you develop by yourself, by doing your higher studies, learning about your job. So everyday experimenting. So now in my case, every year I do some experiments or research work with my students to select the best methodology, or every year the subject component I teach is different. Then career exploration, you explore your job. So various career opportunities available. Now these days, the applicants and explore careers, and they try to migrate, many of them, right? And they find opportunities in the job. Now, if you consider about teaching, there are certain opportunities. You can become ISA, principal, then director, lecturers, then you can become SLES officers. Right? There are so many avenues. Then you explore. Then career management. So career management is essential for individual to make right career choice. Manage career job, right? So you adjust to the career. So you manage transition and changes in your career. Transition again, change job, right? So then the basic thing is that you should identify your skills and abilities. That is very, very essential in managing your job. Okay. Right. Now, if we consider about the theories, career development theories, Rowe's personality development theory, right? And Rowe is an American psychologist, right? So, right. So according to Anne Rowe, so she says that people work not only to earn money, but to fulfill other various needs, right? So then they do jobs not only to earn money, but fulfill other various needs. What are they? Psychological needs, safety needs, love and belongingness, need for respect, self-esteem, independence, need for information, need for understanding, need for beauty, need for self-actualization, right? So then where do you find all these things, these needs? Self-esteem, now here love and belongingness, right? What is this? Where do you find this? Hierarchical need of that who is this psychologist who gave this here, that if you consider about these needs, what is in the bottom? What is in the bottom? That is physiological needs. Physiological needs, your basic needs. Your basic needs are food, rest, sleep, sex. So these are the basic needs. Once we fulfill these needs, we go to the next one, safety needs. Once it is fulfilled, we go for the next one, love and belongingness. Hierarchical need, love and belongingness. What's it? His name? Maslow's theory. According to Maslow's theory, that you just see it in the website, that Maslow's theory, that the basic thing is physiological needs. That means we need to fulfill our basic needs like food, then sleep, sex. These are the basic needs. Then we go for the safety needs. Right? After safety needs, we go for love and belongingness needs. Then we go for self-esteem. Then it was final one, self-actualization. We reach our goals. We try to achieve our goals. Right. Then Rowe said that early relations in the family. That means that now family background also help for us to select our career. As an example, now there are some families that all are teachers, and they also like others, their children also to become teachers, right? Okay. Then Rowe classifies occupations as person-oriented or non-person-oriented. Classify kara kotas dehikada jobs. So that is person-oriented, non-person-oriented, right? So then we'll see what they are. In her theory, Rowe also developed a list of 8 occupational groups. So then in her theory, and he developed 8 occupational groups. What are they? They are service, business contact, technology, outdoor jobs, organization jobs, science, general culture, arts, entertainment. So then these are the jobs that she classified. Then she associated 6 levels of responsibility, skills, capability that are needed for doing certain jobs, right? Okay, so this is about Andrew's personal development theory. And there's another theory called social learning theory, right? Social learning theory of career choice and counseling. So it was given by John Krumboltz. So in his theory, there are 2 major types of learning, right? So that he said that instrumental learning experiences and associative learning experiences. So then he said that factors that influence the preference with an educational or occupational preference. So he explained about the factors that influence the preference for jobs. What are they? Preference for job, preference for career decision, right? So then that what kind of skills that are needed, what are the factors affecting the occupational alternatives, right? So then he discussed about the things that is needed for a career, right? Then next we talk about trait and factor theory by Frank Parson. Frank Parson is also an American professor. So then at the very beginning, now here America was converted to a trade-based, now from the agricultural based economy to industrial economy. So after that he found people, those who are coming to jobs, they left the job quickly. The reason was that they could not adjust to the working environment. A job adjust in the So what he did was he led the students who are learning in schools to visit the working places and learned about the function of these machines and the work they have to fulfill before they go for a job. So it was successful because at the very beginning, they have some kind of idea what kind of work is going on. So what kind of skills they should develop. So after that, when they go to jobs, they could do them very well. So that is, he called trait and factor theory. Means he said that traits, the characteristics a person has, helpful to become succeed if the factors in the workplace match. Such as, now as an example, you may like teaching. So because you like teaching, you love the environment, you love the students, you love to be in a staff, you love the working area. Sometimes the salary is not enough, but you love majority of the things in the environment. So that is called trait and factor, factors in the environment, traits of the person. So then if they match, then you become successful in the job, right? Okay, that is called trait and factor theory. Now that we'll go to Holland's personality theory. So if we consider about Holland's personality theory, let me draw a diagram. Right. So here, okay. Covalence theory. Okay, and before that, Uta, can you see the screen? Can you see the screen? Have I shared you?
Yes.
Okay, wait. I'm going to show you the diagram of Holland's theory. Wait, want to find. Okay, right. So it's just like this. I will draw it like this. It's just like this. I don't know whether you can see the color. Okay, can you see this diagram?
Yes, madam.
Okay, right. Now here, if we put these to each, now here what Holland says, we'll go to that one first. Right. Holland's personality theory. Right. So then this theory was developed by Holland, John Holland, an American psychologist. So then Holland's theory states that every individual had one of 6 personality traits. That he introduced 6 personality traits. Then he said that we have one of them. So now here these are the personality traits, like realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, conventional. So these are the traits. Lakshan, realistic, right? Then so then in this theory, Holland also defined 6 types of environment. And he said that there are 6 types of characteristics of people, personalities, traits, and 6 types of environments, right? So in his theory, he said that there are 6 types of people: realistic, artistic, investigative, social, enterprising, conventional. And there are 6 kind of environments also: realistic, conventional, artistic, social, enterprising, and investigative. Then he said realistic people like to find realistic environment. Conventional people like to find conventional environment. Artistic people like to find artistic environment. Now social, we are social people. Now teachers, counselors, we are social people. So we like social environment, right? So then people look for environments that enhance their skills, abilities, attitudes, and values, right? So that is how people try to find the jobs. So they search for environments that help them to assume agreeable roles. That now, if I love teaching, that means I love to be with children. I like to be in a staff. I like to learn new things. I like to teach something new. So then that's why I like teaching. So like that, they like different jobs. That is because according to their interest. Then behavior of the individual is determined by the interaction of the personality and the environment. Now, social people, they like to mingle with others. Right? And there are some artistic people. So they don't like traditional people, conventional people. They like artistic people. Then Sindhu kena kamati Sindhu kena rangapana like that. So they like artistic people. Enterprising people, they like to work with enterprising people, right? So these are the, if we consider about it like this, now these are the now here who are very close, realistic and social. What can you tell about these 2 people? Do they have same characteristics or different characteristics? Now they are far apart, realistic and social. I mean, realistic and social, they are far apart. They have totally different characteristics. Enterprising and investigative, they also have very different characteristics. Conventional and artistic, they also have different characteristics. But here, realistic and conventional, they have some similar characteristics. Conventional and enterprising, similar characteristics. Social and artistic, similar characteristics. Artistic and investigative, similar characteristics, right? Okay. Then according to Holland, the definitions of the various personalities are as follows, right? Okay, wait for a moment. Okay. Right. If we consider about the realistic people, right? These activities may be related to the explicit, ordered, or systematic manipulation of objects. They work with tools, machines, and animals. Tell me some examples. Those who work with tools, machines, and animals. Tools, machines, animals, they are working with animals, they are working with machines, they are working with tools, objects. Engineers, architects, farmers, electricians, mechanics, draftsmen. So they belong to this category, right? These are realistic people. So they involve these kind of activities. Then investigative people. So they like to do investigations, right? So these people observe physical, biological, cultural phenomena, sansidhya adhyayanekana. So then they can control certain phenomena, they can understand certain incidents in the nature, right? So who are these investigative people? Scientists, researchers, philosophers, chemists, they are investigative people. Then artistic people. So they like creative activities like arts, drama, crafts, dancing, music. They don't like that orderly things or repetitive activities. They are very creative. They have artistic abilities. They value creative things, right? So they are actors, dramatists, singers, dancers, poets, writers, novelists, beauticians. So they are artistic people. Then when it comes to social, so they like to do things to help people like teaching, nursing, giving first aid, providing information like uh, receptionists. So then they don't like traditional things like conventions like using machines, tools. They don't like to work with animals. So these people are good at teaching, counseling, nursing, giving information, helping people, solving social problems, right? They are helpful, friendly, trustworthy. So such as teachers, nurses, doctors, counselors, receptionists, right? They are social people. So when it comes to enterprising, so they like to lead and persuade people to sell things, to sell ideas, right? So they are good at leading people, right? So they value success in politics, leadership, business. So these people, politicians, businessmen, managers, insurance agents, sales reps, so they belong to enterprising people, right? Then conventional people, so they like to work with manipulation of data entry. So they work with the numbers, right? Accountants, conventional people, right? They keep records, filling materials, right? Reproducing materials, organize written and numerical data, right? So these people, that data operators, then accountants, they belong to this category, right? Then okay, we'll see. Right, then we have Donald Super. So he also mentioned about super, it is called Super's theory. So this theory was developed by American psychologist Donald Super. So he defines 14 propositions that define the role of abilities. Now he said that people select jobs according to abilities, their interests, self-concepts, life stages, their interactions in the life of a person. So all these things affect when selecting a job. So these propositions are, the theory claims that most people are different with respect to their abilities. Now, people have different abilities, different personalities, different needs, different values, different interests, different characteristics. So, different self-concept. Self-concept means that that my picture about myself. That means what I can do, my strengths, my weaknesses, what I have to develop. That my evaluation about myself is self-concept. So he said, people select jobs according to these characteristics. Then the abilities and skills of a person help decide the occupation suitable for him. So he said, people select jobs according to their abilities and skills. Right. Then he said, people change with time and experience. As an example, now think of your schools now at the very beginning as novice teachers. So you're very humble, you listen to everybody, and if somebody asks you to do, you do it, right? But when you are working, then think of some teachers who had been working there for 5 to 10 years. They take the authority, and sometimes they try to surpass the principal. Give me 1 minute. Counseling problems. Now here, where we have some students with some counseling needs, now others are in trouble because of that. Since the students are in the same dormitory, now others have to attend when some students need have some problems. So that's a nature. So that's why being teachers, you have to learn counseling very well and apply them in your practical settings. Okay. So then, right. So with time and experience, people's maturity, that means we become professionally mature, and so our job roles and our attitudes, all this change, right? So now if you consider about a novice teacher, and if you consider about the same teacher after 10-15 years, that's totally different, right? So then this also brings about change in lives. Their lives change with the time and experience, their work, their beliefs of the people, your self-concept. Then කලින් හිතුව විදිහට නෙවෙයි දැන් ඔය අවුරුදු 15 කට experience තියෙන teacher කෙනෙක් විදිහට හිතන්න, right? So then with time, all these things change. So sometimes education, now at the very beginning, you did not have a degree, but after some time you have a degree. Now you are knowledgeable. You have some experience, you have some exposure, right? Then, so then these things help you to adjust easily to the environment. The change takes place in different stages that include growth. Yeah, the stages. That Super has some stages in his theory. These are the stages: growth, exploration, establishment, maintenance, and decline. Right, so that he has these kind of stages in his theory. So he says that right. So growth means at the very beginning, when you go for a job, that you try to grow in the job. That means you try to do your higher studies, follow certain courses. Then you explore. Then you explore certain opportunities in the job. Now if you're a teacher, you find that what are the other areas I can go as a director, principal, ISC, then lecturer. You explore the opportunities, then establish. So now when you become about 40, 45 years, you establish in the job. Then you maintain your job after that. So then after 60 or 65, you decline, you get your retirement. So this change cycle is often termed as maxi cycle, right? So, so individual moves from one stage to another. So you as a novice teacher, you are growing now. Then you later on you explore. Then principal can. So whether I can go as a lecturer. So how can I increase my salary? So you explore. Then you establish after certain time. Then you maintain it. So you maintain your job. Then you decline, you get your retirement. So this transition can take place because of several reasons, like changes in type of manpower needs, illnesses, injury. Sometimes if you fall ill, fall sick, sometimes you decline early, retire, right? Right, then I had been talking to you by muting myself. I'm very sorry. Ayo. I was talking to you because that actually I was telling you that there was a case, a child who need counseling. So I was telling that also by muting myself in bed. So then when they are, because since the students are in dormitories, that when one child is having some problems, others are in trouble. So then that's why being teachers, you have to identify children who need counseling and help them, right? So then I was talking about these Super's theory. So Super explained about certain stages in his life. So then the stages are growth, exploration, establish, maintenance, and decline. Now here you are in the growth stage. You are doing your higher studies and you are following certain courses to grow yourself in your job. Then you explore. Explore means you identify the opportunities in the job. So what are the promotions you can get, whether you can become a director, a principal, or a lecturer. Then you, after exploration, you establish in the job. After about 45 years, after doing all these education and all, you establish in a certain position. Then you maintain. Then after that, you have no any interest in studying and all, you maintain your job. Then decline. So that is you are getting your retirement. Sometimes due to certain illnesses that you get an early retirement, or if you have some other opportunities also, you get an early retirement. Right. Then we were talking that people's career pattern, the individual's career pattern is often determined by parental, socio-economic level, mental ability, education, skill, personality, and career maturity. Career maturity means that the number of experience that you have gained in the job and kind of experience exposure you have gained. Then career patterns may often change when the individuals get exposure to career options. Now here, rather than staying in the school that you have some exposure, you go for certain courses. Sometimes you go abroad. So you go to the university and learn. So you sit for exams. So like that, you get some exposure in your job. And especially that you attend workshops, right? So sometimes you have experienced something that you have never experienced before. So then the success of the individual in a career depends on your readiness of the facing challenges. So readiness of learning something new in your profession. So readiness of improving your knowledge and giving your students, that depends on your readiness of doing things. Then that is how you get career maturity. But just teaching in one school for about 20-30 years, that you won't become mature in your profession. So you need to get exposure, studies, attending different research symposia, doing research. So you can do these things to become mature in your job, right? Then career maturity requires the individual to deal with various stages of career development we discussed earlier, right? Then the individual can develop career maturity through all his life stages. We discussed the life stages, right? So then if we guided to make use of the abilities and interest in a proper manner, you can become mature in your job, right? Then you will change your self-concept later on. So at the very beginning, as a novice teacher, your self-concept is different than the self-concept you have when you become a matured teacher, right? Then career development entails nothing but developing and implementing an individual self-concept related to his career or vocation. So we have certain kind of self-concept related to career. I can do these things, I can teach like this, so I'm good at this, so I have to develop these things. Then you have some kind of self-concept, right? So this concept based on your aptitude, your knowledge, your interest, your physical aspect. So the career options, opportunities, all these things affect it, right? Then other most important things, the feedback you get, right? Sometimes when you do something, some of them praise you, some of them point out the certain mistakes you have done. It is very, very important. Another thing is your satisfaction at work depend upon how well you use your abilities, your values, interests, your characteristics, and your self-concept in life, right? So then satisfaction is the most important thing. So one need in the job, right? Then Super also defined 5 developmental tasks within the exploratory stages like vocational choice. Now we select the job, increase vocational information. So we find information in our job, consistency of vocational choice. So we go for the correct choice. Then identification and crystallization of traits relevant to career choice. Then we establish in the job. Then increase understanding of vocational preference. Then we understand our preference in the job, right? So these are the career development stages. Now there are 6 stages in career or vocational development. First one is assessment. We assess our job first. Job study karna, right? Then investigate. So during this stage that they investigate various career options they can go before going for a job. Then prepare for the job. Once you select a job, you prepare for the job, right? Following certain courses. Then commitment. Then you commit to your job, right? Right. Then retention. Then after that, you retain in the job, right? Then after that, you have transition. In the transition stage, the individual may experience discomfort with his career because sometimes you are unhappy due to the distance you have to travel, due to poor salary. Sometimes you may decide to change your job. Right. Now, last topic, career burnout. So it's basically long-term exhaustion, right? That means sometimes now you get tired of your job when you don't have good feedback, when you don't get satisfaction, when your salary is less, that you are exhausted. You have no interest in the job anymore, right? So then they said that psychologist Herbert and Gale gave 12 phases of burnout. A person finds it mandatory to prove himself. A person tries to work harder. So these are the characteristics of your job that gives you satisfaction and dissatisfaction, finally enable you to continue or leave the job, right? So you can read them. I have put them in point form, right? So then if you do not feel any satisfaction in your job, if you retain in there, you will get depression. You will feel that no use of doing this job. So the best thing is to change your job if you don't like in the job, right? Rather than getting depression and all. Okay. So if you okay, that's all. Right. Then any other thing you want to get clarified in this, because that there are 53 slides. I will send you now soon after the class. So here we discussed some basic things that we learned in guidance, then counseling, then we mainly discuss about vocational guidance and what are the needs. That means what are the things that basically we need for vocational guidance if you become a teacher, and how can you help the students. Then we discussed about some theories like Ann-Rose theory, Holland's theory, social learning theory, and Super's theory. So these theories are somewhat important. You need to learn about these things. Then we discussed about career development. And career burnout means that in certain occasions that if you may feel tired of doing your job, and sometimes you may feel if you retain in the job that you have, you get sometimes bored, depression, and sometimes you feel to leave the job. So therefore, if you feel at the very beginning this job doesn't match me, you can go for some other job that you love. So the most important thing is you should retain in a job that gives satisfaction. So mental satisfaction and job satisfaction. So it should give you satisfaction in your job, right? Anything you want to get clarified from what we have discussed?
We are fine, ma'am.
Okay, with that, right. So shall we wind up? Then we have one more class. So I will try to finish the things because now this is also a rushly went through because this is easy. So you can go through them and you can understand, right? Okay, if you don't have any other issues that, do you want anything to discuss related to something that we have learned up to now? Anything you want to get clarified or you want to ask something new?
No, madam.
Okay, then I will stop this and send you the PowerPoint presentation, right? So thank you for joining. Thank you for your cooperation. Okay, good night.
Thank you,
Thank you.
madam.
Good
Good night.
Good night.